to Berean Babs. I'm your host, Vale Chikune. This is your Christian podcast. Happy Friday to you guys. I appreciate you guys for joining in and for watching. We welcome you. We welcome you. We welcome you. So, today, as you know, there is a war going on in Israel between Israel and the terrorist group Hamas. And this is creating all sorts of things amongst people, which is normal. Okay, as they say, opinions are free. Everybody is entitled to their own opinions. We get that. We understand. We're gonna get started now. I have some clips that I'll be able to share with you. There isn't much that there's certain things that there's no way I'll be able to share, given the platform that we are on. You know how they do over here on YouTube. Everything is censored. There's a lot of information on Telegram or even on Twitter where people are sharing things, so you are able to see quite a lot over there. Okay, good to see you, brother Eric. Thank you for stopping by. Appreciate you for being here. All right, so there is one question that everybody has been asking in terms of when the attack happened on Saturday. Where was the Mossad? Where was the Israeli Defense Force? Because they are very famous that they are very good. Okay, they are actually at the top of their game. What had happened? Um, Apparently, and these are the reports that are coming from there. Obviously, they're going to do the investigation, and we'll be able to hear more. But during that day, on their border, they have there's a fence there, and they do have different posts of the IDF, different posts along along the border, and they do have cameras. So those cameras and all the activities that are happening there, they transmit those actions to central command, so to speak. So when these terrorists came in, it all happened at once. So you had, the rockets were firing in, some of them coming down from the gliders, and some of them coming through the sea, because that's where the the Mediterranean Sea is, right? And they shot down the videos at the same time. So there was no communication. So they disabled the communication, and they were able to do everything that they were able to do. Not only that, prior to this, Israel had given permits to Gaza residents so they could come in and they could come and go for work. So during all this time, they were gathering intel. They were patient, they were gathering intel. So it took a long time for them to execute whatever they execute. That's why when they executed, everything looked like a movie. I don't know if you guys, I'm actually like a junkie of Israeli movies. Oh, so I was just like, wait a minute, some of the things, like the stuff that I see in the movie, this is what the stuff these people were doing. So that's one thing that happened. Another thing that happened when these people were waking, they were asking questions to their Jewish people. Oh, so what holiday? Okay, so everybody's going to be at this particular location. Oh, okay, what happened? So they were able to ascertain. Okay, this is what they do. These are the things. That's what happened. And one of the terrorists has been captured and he's confessing. I cannot show it over here. They were asking questions and they did say, like, yes, that was their intention. Grab some of these women and, according to his word, make them dirty. Okay, so raping them and everything is just par for the course. And right now, there's so much activities. In fact, the thing took place on Saturday. There was a lot of activities that were taking place, but according to their intelligence, they thought these things are going to be happening on the northern border with Lebanon. This is where the another group is the Hezbollah, and they also have their rockets aimed at Israel. So, like, between Hamas and the Hezbollah are up here and then Hamas is up here. But it's all the same ideology, this terrorist mindset. Their aim is just to wipe out Israel. And so they were concentrating on their northern border, unbeknownst to them, the activities were coming from the southern border. And everything happened so fast, and hence these are the things that have transpired. So word on the street is like, they are planning just to go in. They've told the residents of Gaza to evacuate, to leave. Quite frankly, they don't have anywhere else to go because one border is Israel, one border is Egypt. So obviously, there's no way they'll be heading to Israel. So the only place they can go is Egypt. But Egyptians have closed their border, they are not interested. But Egypt is 90% Muslim. So, Gaza is pretty much, this is a Muslim population. So it'll be like, okay, you guys need to open the border and help your fellow men here. They're not going to do it because uh, it's it's so much trouble than whatever else is going on. So there is been quite, this more equivalence that's been going on back and forth. Like, no, uh, remember, every war is going to have casualties. That's just the fact of the war, and there are innocent people who suffer these consequences. That's just the reality. Those are the things. Those are the results that war brings. So the Israelis have sent out information that they need to evacuate, and their own people, the Hamas leadership is telling them, no, stay put, stay strong. So you have to understand the ideology at work over here. For a Muslim to die in that way, you die as a martyr, and that's your one-way ticket to paradise. So there is a difference there. They are going to sacrifice. They go to sacrifice their own life. It's different with the mindset of Christians when they go to war, right? You want to, you want to avoid innocent people, and you want to make sure that you return back to your families. So this is a world in conflict ideologies at play. So while all these things is happening, there's been some stories that are happening on the front lines, and I figure like, okay, it'll be good to share these stories. So here we go. This one, this is very heartbreaking. This gentleman over here, uh, his daughter went to sleep over at the neighbor's place, and lo and behold, the neighbors were, as everybody died, including his daughter. And this is what he shared when he heard the news.
They just said, we found Emily. She's dead. And I went, yes! I went, yes, and smiled. Because that is the best news of the possibilities that I knew. That was the best possibility that I was hoping for.
And we actually spoke with one man, originally from Ireland, who was separated from his 8-year-old daughter. She had gone to a sleepover at a friend's house who also lived in the kibbutz. And he described to us the agonizing moment. After 2 days of waiting for answers, he was rescued. He finally found out that his 8-year-old daughter, Emily, had been killed.
She was either dead or in Gaza. And if you know anything about what they do to people in Gaza, that is worse than death. That is worse than death. The way they treat you. They'd have no food. They'd have no water. She'd be in a dark room filled with Christ knows how many people, and terrified every minute, hour, day, and possible years to come. So death was a blessing, an absolute blessing.
That is just heartbreaking. And this is the father who lost his daughter, Emily. And given the circumstances, with his own words, it's just like, he was like, "Oh, thank God that my daughter is gone," as opposed the child uh, being in Gaza. And that is so. Can you imagine? These are the things that these people are going through, and now over here, always we are, we are out here in the West. We always have something that we have to share. But like, if that was your child in that particular situation, I know this is not exactly what you would think. So obviously, we do have the BLM, okay, and this is what the BLM put out. For everyone withdrawing support, saying they stood with us and now they're removing signs by toddlers. We have always been for Palestinian freedom. We stood with Rasmir. There's no way we could have been with, there's no way you could have been with us at any point. I'd miss that to be shocked now. Okay, so this is the BLM in Chicago. And there's so many organizations that decided to give their good dollars to BLM because this so-called white guilt, right? But according to them, they're telling like, well, you should have known that this is how we roll. Okay, so why are you leaving us now? So I guess like people are just saying like, okay, you are not an organization worthy for us to be donating our funds. And every time these people keep saying like, okay, we've always been for freedom, right? We've always been for Palestinian. There, there is this misunderstanding. Obviously, we don't study history in any way, shape, or form. The people who attacked these innocent people, they do identify themselves as Palestinian. These are like, from Hamas, okay? Hamas was voted in power in 2005, and they've held to power up to now. And in the West Bank, they wanted to, President Hamas wanted to be, okay, democracy, let's vote for people. And he decided, no, we're going to put a stop to this because the consensus over there, he was going to lose because they were going to vote in for Hamas. So this is a terrorist organization. And when people are saying these things, just like, okay, this is exactly what you're supporting. And they keep saying, oh, these people are occupying whatsoever. They are not occupying anything. Like, given the history, you would understand. You'd be like, no, there's no way we can just be coming up with these things like, okay, occupation. But, this is a language you should understand that they are also putting their propaganda out. They are also putting their propaganda out. But, you use your common sense. You have to read up on these things. And the other thing, this is also that I want to share. This one, oh, so this is a story. Hold on. Okay, so this is a lady over here. Her husband was taken, and she sat down to do an interview with the Sky News. So let's just watch what took place when this interview was taking place. Here we go.
Tari and her 1-month-old baby escaped her home and survived by hiding in the kibbutz. Her husband, Yahav, disappeared. She wanted to speak to us.
Listen, I feel like every minute counts right now, so because he's either injured somewhere or either kidnapped, so every minute is like important. Ma? 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 Ma?
While we filmed, a phone call came.
Ma? רגע. הוא מת? אמא, מה? מה? רגע, מה? מה?
שקט. שקט. תרגעו.
מה? מה?
The news she dreaded. Yahav is dead. This is the horror of war. The family have allowed us to show this so that everyone understands what it is like. Stuart Ramsey, Sky News, Southern Israel.
So that's the wife right there. She's sitting down to do an interview to talk about her husband. Then she receives the story right there that her husband is gone, her husband is dead. Then you to be hearing people doing this, the so-called moral equivalence, is just like, no, this is not what's going on in that part of the land. That's not what's going on. Okay, like what the infrastructure, their government system, whatever they have over there, you cannot be walking like you go to DC, right? You know where, like, you know where the Pentagon is, you know where Congress is. These are government buildings. So if America is at war, like, okay, those are a fair game whenever you're in warfare. That's not how they have over there in Gaza. They have apartment buildings. People live there. They come and go. But there's also these activities that take place from apartment buildings, from school, from hospitals. These are the locations where these located and launching. And then the one thing that people forget, they are launching missiles from Gaza all the way to Israel. Most of the times they are intercepted by the Iron Dome, meaning if Israel didn't have the Iron Dome, there will also be innocent children who are getting killed left and right. You see what I'm saying? So it's very sad that 100% that there are young people, young children, innocent people who have nothing to do with this. They were born in this, but they are in that part of the land, and they are just these are the situations that they're going through, and it's very sad. But you will not be missed that there is people who are actually celebrating, okay? And we have over here this New York right here. These are young people, okay? Queers for Palestine. I've already shared. There's no way you'll be carrying this in Gaza. No way you'll be doing this in Iran. This will just cost your life, literally. It will cost your life. But they so naive. They have no idea what is going on. And you have your, once again, BLM. Okay? I stand with Palestine. So I cannot show that video over here. At the music festival, this is how the Hamas this was the air that they used, right? So you have the missiles going in, and then these people are arriving. They scaled the fence. They use the paragliders. So this is exactly what it is. This is a Hamas terrorist right here, and you have they say, like, I stand with Palestine. So this has got nothing with people saying that they're standing with Palestine. This picture here, these are the terrorists who attacked innocent people there. And not only that, you have to remember there's Americans who've been taken hostages. Americans have died. You have British citizens. The other young lady who was paraded, whatever, I think she's from Germany. So you have other nationalities who've been taken. They are not Israelis. They were just there for the festival. Apparently, that festival, 8,000 people, and it attracts international audience. So there's people who have nothing to do with this issue, and they've died. Then we have the so-called BLM putting stuff like this in 2023. It is very shameful and it's very sad, but this is what we're dealing with. This is what we're dealing with. Not to be outdone, in England, okay, you have people have put out posters in the street of missing children. Like, okay, somebody can say, oh, this person is missing. And these two people decided to watch this. Okay?
Why don't you do something for Palestine? Why don't you?
This is for Palestine.
They're not mutually exclusive. It's children. It's children. It's innocent people.
Okay, what about the children in Palestine?
That's not. It doesn't make it.
Right.
Jesus.
Why don't you do something for Palestine?
Okay. So people had put out posters of children who were missing. So these two people decided to go out there and then got rid of those papers. So according to them, why don't you do something for Palestine? Well, if there are children from Palestine who are missing, why don't you also just come in with your own posters and also post there that okay, these also children are also missing. You see what I'm saying? They put the children who are missing in Israel. Okay, if children are missing in Palestine, put it over there. But for you to go in and then to rip off these posters, this is someone else's child. And like, so they don't care about like, okay, so they only care about the Palestinian children. They don't care about the Israeli children. So when people put out about the Israeli children, they have a problem. So you can just see the double standard that is at work over here. It's so shameful. It's very, very embarrassing. But obviously, these are the things people don't want to have this subject. But there was some glimmer of good news that had taken place. This they when they had some of the people run out from the festivals, they hid in a tunnel, and they had no clue what was going on. And the IDF found them and rescued them. So watch this clip. It doesn't have sound, so they had found him here after everything had taken place. So you can imagine, like, okay, being relieved. But other places, they knew that they were hiding in a place like this, and the terrorists, they just throw in some grenades, and they found at that time, it was like, obviously, you're just going to find dead bodies piling and piling. So a lot of Israelis now, they are making way pilgrimage to go back home so they can go in and fight. So they have, they're receiving good support from their own people. Now they've actually formed one government, an emergency government. So all of them are just sort of like united. They have their differences like we do have over here, but they'll be like, no, we are the war. So they have formed one government that was voted, I think, 86-4. So some restaurants that are in Tel Aviv, there's a lot of, it's kind of like they are New York over there. Even the restaurants in Tel Aviv, they've made their restaurants kosher. That way they can also save the Jewish people and be able to save everybody. So these are some of the people in the streets giving some water or some things, just support to people going on to the front lines. So So that's them, just it came on the street, giving them snacks as they are heading to the border with Gaza. It's very, it's heartbreaking, it's touching, it's very sad, but they're at war. Obviously, we do have welcome, guys. Thank you guys for joining in. I appreciate you guys. Welcome, welcome, welcome. Good to see you, Sister Patricia, Kiana. So, yes, we do have our Black Lives Matter. They put out a statement. This is the Black Lives Matter. This is the grassroots movement. You cannot make this stuff up, ladies and gentlemen. Black Lives Matter grassroots statement in solidarity with the Palestinian people. Okay, and this is what they say. Black Lives Matter grassroots stands in solidarity with our Palestinian family who are currently resisting 57 years of settler colonialism and apartheid. That's not even true. As Black people continue the fight to end militarism and mass incarceration in our own communities, let us understand the resistance in Palestine as an attempt to tear down the gates of the world's largest open air prison. As a radical Black organization grounded in abolitionists, I wish they were grounded in an abolitionist of abortion. That would have helped matters. Ideals, we see clear parallels between Black and the Palestinian people. Okay, so this is what. So that's what you get from the. Help me out here, Kiara. What's up? What's up? What's up? What's up? What is up with this? What is up with this? Hmm? This is what they are believing. Oh, no. Okay. And then hold on. I didn't finish. Here it is. We too understand what it means to be surveilled, dehumanized, property seized, families separated, our people criminalized and slaughtered with impunity, locked up in droves. And when we resist, they call us terrorists. We too dream of a world where our people may live freely on decolonized lands. May the borders, checkpoints, prisons, police, and watchers that terrorize our communities crumble. And may the world we build from their ashes honor those who have fallen in struggle. I don't know what to say about that. Okay, so there's no apartheid as far as America is concerned. But this is this is what the Black Lives Matter grassroots are saying. Not only that, here's one thing that they are not aware of. Okay, so where there was a time that, remember, or even that land, Gaza and everything. This is an Israeli land. If you read your Bible, it's so much ancient history. Not only that, there were no any the Israelis. There was at some point they did occupy Gaza, but they left. No, they offered the Gaza Strip to the Egyptians, and there was a time that the Egyptians Gaza was part of Egyptian, I think in the 1940s, but they were like, "Oh no, we don't want to deal with this." So be like, okay. So now they actually they have their own territory. They are free to do whatever else they want as they please. They are free to do whatever they want as they please. Unfortunately, their leadership always finds itself in this terrorism business, and Iran funds all that. They do receive so much aid, but they use the aid to promote the terrorism business. And this is one thing right now. The defense minister has shut down water and electricity, and everybody's up and down like, oh, that's inhumane and everything. They're at war, so these people will be like, okay. In fact, the electricity and the water in Gaza is actually free. So the Israeli, they give them free water and free electricity. I didn't even know about this. So this is what happens when you're getting things for free. When people are gonna give you, they'll be like, oh, no more. You guys are coming here, killing our children, killing our women, and you want us to be giving you our free water, free electricity. So this is, and then obviously, innocent people are the ones who are suffering. These people are suffering. So if this government took care of their own people, they had pipes, okay, like these water pipes, and they put out these videos. By the way, I can't show them over here. You go on my Twitter page, you'll be able to see. They use those water pipes, and they make rockets, and they send those rockets where? To Israel. And they're so proud of those things. So it's almost like, okay, you're suffering, innocent people are suffering because of the deeds of their leadership that they have over there. It's very sad, it's very unfortunate, but that's the reality as far as the situation in Gaza is concerned. So obviously they had to the BLM had to add in there. And we do have this is a congresswoman over here. I forgot she had a picture, she I think she's actually Palestinian American. So she had a Palestinian flag, LGBT flag outside in support. So the reporters were asking, why she did that. I mean, she's free, she can do whatever she wants. But it's not a good look given her position, but here we go.
Terrorists have cut off babies' heads and burned children alive. Do you support Israel's rights to defend themselves against this brutality?
We're just going to go through here.
You can't comment about Hamas terrorists chopping off babies' heads? Congresswoman, do you have a comment on Hamas terrorists chopping off babies' heads? You have nothing to say about Hamas.
Yeah, so she did not respond. She did not respond. She did not respond. So these are the things, yeah, you don't have to support Israel, you don't have to support Palestinian, but we are moral human beings that you can see what's going on over here. Not only that, the Israelis, before they bombed the building, they sent like a fake bomb that shakes up the building, and that serves as a warning. You have to get out. You have to get out. The next one is a real one that ends up demolishing the building. And they'll send out text messages to let people know, get out in the area, things of that nature. And even when they send out the messages like to building managers say like, no, we're not gonna get out. Say, no, you have to get out. There's children over there. Say, no, go ahead and do that. And then we're gonna send those pictures to online for people to see, so they can see your depravity. So they use those things as a way for them to propaganda. But they can also assist in helping their own people, but they don't, because it looks bad for Israel and it looks good for them, like, oh, this is you're oppressing these people and everything. That's what happens. But these are the realities. So there was another, this one, okay, also another somebody from the embassy who went to see things with her own eyes. So this is what she shared when she saw what she saw. So here we go.
Stephanie Hallett here, the charge of the U.S. Embassy. I'm here with our senior defense official and defense attaché, Captain Frank Schlereth. We've come down here along the Gaza periphery to bear witness to the atrocities that were committed here on Saturday, and it's really unbelievable. As a mother, and just as a human being, to see and to know what happened here is really important. To say that we've been here, we've seen it, and it is evil. And we stand with Israel. All of us, we stand with Israel.
So, so she went to see. I mean, the pictures is just like very not so good, not so good, not so good. Yeah. And we do have, this is a gentleman here who has picked up arms. Look at him. Like there's a draft in Israel, right? You get 18, you get 17, you get drafted. So, we have a senior citizen, Ezra 18 at 95, is the IDF's oldest reservist. He's been drafted into the reserve to boost morale by talking with soldiers, despite enduring a tough childhood in Jerusalem, marked by riots and unsettling scenes. He and his friends played a role in founding our great nation. His message, don't give up, not even now. That was so touching. So, he's there to talk to the young people who have been drafted. They do actually have a lot of people, about like 300,000. They've gone. They have enlisted, so they can defend their homeland. So one young man who was also been drafted was about to get married, but they decided, okay, we're just gonna have to postpone the wedding. We'll do it when we come back, when the war is over. So they decided to have a wedding for him at the base. So watch this. I think that soldier can sing. I think that soldier can sing. So even in the midst of all these things that are happening, it's nice to see that people, they're just trying. We're just gonna still live our own lives. Like, yeah, did you ever even plan that, okay, you'll be having your wedding at the base? I'm like, oh no, we're gonna do when you come back. So I thought that was that was just touching. Like, okay, the wedding has to go on. But this is a story that broke my heart. Okay, so I'll read it to you. I'm gonna read to you guys in its entirety because it's very, very touching. Okay, this is a gentleman the story is about this guy right here. Okay, so I'll read it to him. Meet Lieutenant Colonel Guy Mader, a career army officer. Guy lives further north and was celebrating Simchas Torah in Kiryat Gat, 30-minute drive from Reem. Hearing about the terrorist incursion, Guy got in his car and hurried south, carrying only his personal pistol. Arriving in the region of Reem, Guy saw a badly wounded Golan soldier and took him into his car. At the same time, a Hamas terrorist shot at his car, but Guy maneuvered away and managed to shoot the terrorist dead. Taking the soldier's gun, Guy killed another 5 terrorists on motorcycles. Having transferred the soldiers to a field hospital, Guy joined a policeman traveling southward, and once again they were attacked by a terrorist. Guy and the policeman were injured in their legs, and the car careened off the road. Guy was left in a ditch, but still managed from there to eliminate more terrorists. After placing a tourniquet on his injured leg, he lay in the ditch for 2 hours with tens of dead terrorists nearby until the arrival of IDF forces, IDF, Israeli Defense Force. Unfortunately, they thought that he was one of the terrorists, as he was wearing civilian clothes. Guy cried that he was a soldier, but was already weak from loss of blood. At the last minute, one of the soldiers said, "Don't shoot." He had tsitsi, and thus his life was dramatically saved. Guy was taken to Bellison Hospital, where he was operated on and is now being treated. This is like a movie thing, okay? So what he had, what leader actually saved his life? Okay, so here somebody put the terminology of sisi. It's a Hebrew word that refers to the specially noted ritual fringes or tassels that are attached to the corners of a 4-cornered Jewish garment, such as talit, prayer shawl, or a talit curtain, a small garment worn under clothing. These fringes serve as a reminder of the commandments in Judaism and are worn as a symbol of faith and devotion. So if you've seen, like even the rabbi, like it's like a string. It'll be on one side. On one side, it's usually like white that you can see. You can always see. So that's exactly what that saved the soldier's life. I was just like, man, thank God. Thank, thank God. So that was I thought that was awesome. That was awesome. So yes, the bombings are going on in Gaza, okay? And this is a statement that was put out. I'll read it to you. It's so short. Amma Aradin, executive director of the Palestinian Family Planning and Protection Association. So this is the Planned Parenthood out there. I was like, wow, they have Planned Parenthood in Gaza. So they say, we don't know what's going on to happen to these women and their newborn babies. Our clinic is unusable, and our options to provide referrals to hospital are decreased by the hour. I can't stress enough how dire the situation and how desperate we need humanitarian aid to be allowed into Gaza. On October, on the PFPPA only center in Gaza was destroyed following an Israeli airstrike to an adjacent building. So there's only one PP out there, and it was destroyed. It was just like, okay, destroy or PP everywhere. We welcome that. We welcome that for sure. We welcome that for sure. Okay, so in the universities celebrating, this is at the Madison campus, and they were chanting glory to the martyrs, right? Because if you die killing Israel or Jew, you die. If you die in jihad, if you're waging jihad, you die that, which means you've died as a martyr, and off you go. I don't even think that I can play this because they are chanting that on this video, and you know how they do it over here, and this is right here in the US. There was a big also another big celebration in Dearborn, in Michigan, Dearborn, Michigan. These are the things that are happening here. Celebration in London, Toronto, all over the world. Be like, okay, what are you guys really celebrating about? Which is sad. You wouldn't think people would be celebrating to such things, but no, people are celebrating. Okay, with no shame. With no shame at all. With no shame, they're celebrating these things. So, in fact, now the um the Saudi prince is saying if they don't stop, if the Israelis don't stop, then he's going to shut down the oil. So expect oil prices to skyrocket. We don't have any more oil reserves. So there's going to be turmoil across the world, for sure, across the world. So one of the things that the Israelis have done, they were receiving some incoming from Lebanon. This is the Hezbollah. So in response to that, they have destroyed the runway in Syria. So the runway in Damascus destroyed, and in Aleppo destroyed. Okay, so you have Syria, you have Lebanon. And they did that because there was an intel that there was a shipment that was coming from Iran to go to Syria. So now that shipment had to return back because there's no landing. The Jordanians don't want to have anything to do with this. They just want, okay, at least give people humanitarian. They are not entertaining this. The Egyptians are not entertaining this, which is good. So that leaves the Syrians is nothing they can do. They are also they don't have going on over there. So hopefully this thing will come to an end soon, because it's a cascading effect. So this gentleman is in Israel, and he does have a very good information, and this is what he shared, and I'll share with you guys, so that way you guys are also informed. Some of the things I had already shared here, but it's good to hear people who are on the ground, right? On the ground, on the ground. No, Kiana, like, yes, I know I've cried. Some people should also share in the tears over here, in the tears. Okay, in the tears. In the tears. So, and they do have their special forces, kind of like their Navy SEAL. They've gone into Gaza so they can gather information, they can gather intel to find out the whereabouts of the hostages. And the Hamas people put out a video. He actually showed the video. They had the babies, one had the baby, the little ones there, and they have their guns, holding a gun here, holding an Israeli baby. Or, they posted that. So just like, okay, we are here, we have your babies. Obviously, you're not going to shoot here your babies, and they're showing these videos. So can you imagine, like, if a parent of the other one, toddler in diapers, like, the baby doesn't know what's going on. I mean, like, I cannot imagine it. If the mother saw that child, I don't know how she's feeling. Like, seeing your child like that, like, it's so heartbreaking. We can't show over here, but on my Twitter page, you guys, you'll be able to see I have that. Okay, so here's a gentleman here who has some good intel. Here we go.
But at the same time, mortars, which are much shorter range, to the Israeli settlements right beyond the border. Because Hamas was conducting exercises, assimilating, believe it or not, exactly what they did. Now, the phone rang in the offices of many officers the night before, and it was brought to the attention of the chief of staff, the top commander, and apparently not only to him, but also to the knowledge of the head of the Secret Service. They knew about it during the night. However, the military liaison officer to the prime minister received his phone call only at 6 a.m. and Netanyahu received his phone call right when it all happened. When it started at 6:30 a.m., he immediately rushed to the underground control center in Tel Aviv to understand what is going on. And let me now explain to you what really happened on that morning that caused the horrific delay in response of the Israeli military.
Okay, YouTube, I have to stop it. So this gentleman, he's there, he's in Israel. He has family there, that's where he lives. And they know people. So they are explaining to how everything cascaded since on Saturday and what's going on currently.
What the Hamas did, they fired exactly at 6:30 a barrage of rockets to Tel Aviv and towards cities all around, but at the same time, mortars, which are much shorter range, to the Israeli settlements right beyond the border. And under the auspices of all of this shelling, they simultaneously did two things. And listen carefully what happened, because this is, I must confess, they impressed me. Snipers all along disabled, they shot at the Israeli cameras, and 140 bomb-dropping drones were launched towards all the Israeli outposts along the border, where we have the command and control centers to watch the data from the cameras and to navigate the forces, where to go and what is suspicious and what's going on. So the eyes and the ears of the Israeli military that are spread all along the border were basically neutralized in the first 5 minutes of this operation. And then,
so those are the things that you only see. Those are the only things that you see in the movies. And these guys, they knew exactly what they were doing. This was planned, well coordinated, and they're not even hiding. This is exactly what happened. So to be hearing people from here who be like, "Oh no, we stand with the you are standing with the terrorists. You are standing with the terrorists." Exactly. So it's so sad, but we continue.
Hamas breached the wall in 15 different locations using very powerful explosives. And again, there are booms everywhere because of the mortar shells and because of the rockets. And this is the point. where they are also marked to their gliders. These are gliders with terrorists on top of them to take off and to start landing in open areas in where the music festival took place. Hamas had very, very detailed information because we found the maps and all the entire file with all the details. We found everything. They had details on every Israeli settlement. They knew about the Israeli festival that was there. Music festivals held in Israel, by the way, are apparently, I learned, very popular among people who love outdoors parties. They attract people from all over the world, and that will explain to you in a few minutes. I'll tell you that over 15 different nationalities were among the fatalities and the abductees. Now,
so you can imagine, so this is one thing also that people are missing now, like the amount of people who have died is 1,300 in Israel, 1,300. My last count for Hamas side was 900, but all the numbers are going up. So Israel is 9 million people. It's just a small, it's a small town, small area. People compare it over here like with what? Size of New England or New Jersey. And so if they've lost 1,300 people, proportionally speaking to the population of America, that's what, 30 million. It's like, okay, so they've lost like 30,000 people. So if these people have lost their 30,000 people, within their population, and mind you, you're talking of like, because you have babies who've been killed, then you have the elderly who were killed, you have young people who've been killed. So like all the age groups, you see what I'm saying? All the age group, and with their history, what they've suffered, where they've been, every life it's very, very precious, and every life is precious. The kids who are dying in Gaza, they have parents. These are image bearers of God. Their lives is also precious. Their life is also precious. But this is where you see these two religions in conflict. You see, some they are aroma for death, and some for aroma for life. And it's like when you're seeing things in that way, like, no, in Islamic culture, in Islamic teachings, this is the path that you go, because they don't know if you're going to make it to heaven. Like, it's inshallah, so your good deeds have to weigh your bad deeds. So the most guaranteed way that you actually have is the way of jihad. So you have two religions pretty much in conflict over here. These are things that play. Then you add in the geopolitical, that's at the mix here. Then because you get rid of the Jews, you get rid of the Christians, right? You want to establish this the Islamic empire across the same way we do, like as Christians, right? We want to evangelize, like, hello, Christian nationalism. We want to evangelize the whole world, right? We want everybody to bow the knee to Christ, but we don't do it with the sword. We're going to do it. We want your heart to be transformed. We're going to persuade you to the things that we believe in, but it's not going to be at the gunpoint. That's the difference.
Let me tell you what happened, because this is where the carnage began. And I can tell you that in all my years, and I've covered a lot of very, very bad things in my whole life. I was witness to some, and I covered others. I was in America during 9/11. I've seen stuff in my life. Never, and I also studied very in depth the events of the Holocaust, of World War II. And World War II is not just the Holocaust in Europe, but there were also terrible atrocities done in Asia and other places. And I don't remember seeing or reading or hearing anything even close to what I'm about to tell you. So first of all, I'm talking about 3 different directions that the terrorists went. A group of them went to the military bases, including the headquarters of the IDF of all of that region. They slaughtered, remember, it started with a bomb-dropping drones that actually already killed few. Everybody is in shock. Then they made it in, and literally slaughtered every single soldier. Then they moved to tanks that
Yeah, there's been a picture of those soldiers. I think, like, 26 soldiers, all of them were killed. And remember, this took place on a Saturday, and this is, they were celebrating Yom Kippur, and then Saturday, they are Sabbath keepers. So this is a day where just like, okay, you're not even thinking about wars and everything, because most of the things that they do get are those sirens, right? So they know, okay, there's nothing they can do. The Iron Dome is going to do its thing. If we hear the siren, we're going to go and hide under the bunker. So I think like their houses, they do have built in where like a bomb shelter. So you're just going about your day. If you don't hear a siren, if you don't hear anything, you're just fine. Not only that, you are the best. So who in their right mind is thinking like, okay, I'm going to attack Andrews Air Force Base, or I'm going to attack the Pentagon? You're not thinking those things. You'll be like, okay, we're here, this way it's at. But that's how you can see the planning these things, and then these people didn't have the intel about it. That tells you like, okay, they are working on things like you've never seen before. But we continue.
that were around, and they dropped bombs on tanks as well, and they pulled some of the tanks crew. Some of them were dead, some of them were barely alive, and they dragged them into Gaza. And then the other, and again, that's one thing, the squads that were dealing with the military. Another squad was dealing with the Israeli settlements. They had maps of each and every one of them. They knew where there is military presence in each of one of the Israeli settlements, so that they went there first. And then they literally entered towns and villages, entered into houses, and this is where the most terrible carnage took place. At the same time, and I will get back to that in a few seconds. At the same time, remember the gliders, and remember the third wing of terrorists. They were on their way to the party. That music festival, Nova, attracted nearly 8,000 people. And next to it, not too far, there was a private party for invitees only. Very, very small, secluded, or probably maybe 100, 150 people, and you could only know where it is an hour before. It was like a private party in one place, a massive festival in another place. Both were surrounded, trapped. Now, it all began, remember, the barrage of rockets already caused everyone to start running towards their cars. The terrorists waited for them, pretending to be some sort of a block of police or security forces. And as the cars started piling up in a long, long traffic jam, they started driving along and literally spraying every single car, and killed roughly 150 people just there inside the cars. Another.
So this is, I have to. So I'm not. We're not gonna watch the whole video. I'll leave the link. You guys can watch the rest of it. It's very sad what took place. It's very sad what took place. So when you're seeing how the Israelis are responding, they are definitely at war, because these were innocent people. So it's not like they're innocent people, and they definitely do have a right to defend themselves. And when the other people are saying like, oh, it's the moral equivalence is just not even there. It's just not even there. It's just not even there. And especially like, we see these kids over here in America, like, no, 9/11 happened. After 9/11, what happened? Like, these are the wars that took place in Afghanistan, right? In Iraq and everything. Like, yeah, be like, no, you attack us, we're coming for you. This is just how things work. And it's unfortunate. It's the same thing. You have innocent people out there in Afghanistan, people who lost their lives. So that, that shouldn't be lost in all these things. That shouldn't be lost on all these things. This is not like in the movies where you have like, you have Arnold Schwarzenegger you have Jack Bauer who's going to save everybody. Like, that's not what happens in real life. That's not what happens in real life. So we'll watch a little bit, and this will be it.
Group of terrorists in that party circled the people that they captured with motorcycles, and they began to shoot at them as they were circling them as they're trapped. Many of the thousands of the people that were hiding and running away Many of them were injured, and they hopped into whatever ditch they found and hole in the ground and bushes, and they were hiding. Some of them pretended to be dead. I know of some, my daughter's friends, who actually took blood from where their injury was and they put it on their head as if they're dead and pretended to be dead. Some of them were actually killed when the terrorists went again and made sure that everybody is indeed dead. They shot many of them once again. And then, of course, we found out later in the interrogation of many of them, that one of the targets was to take as many young girls as they can, also to rape them first. They call it to make them dirty, almost as if it's a commandment. It's a must. It's like something they are proud of. Raping them repeatedly and then killing them and parading them in the streets of Gaza. But this is not the only thing they did. I heard today a testimony of a person that was called to that area to help removing and taking extracting the bodies. And he was handed a bag. And they asked, so is that the little boy? What is a little boy doing in this party? And he was told, that's not a boy. That's not a little baby. This is one person. And when they opened the bag, it was a person that was completely dismembered. The hands, the legs, and the head were all chopped off. Now, if that...
So those are the things I know it's very sad, very sad. These are the things that happened. And then there was a report about 50 babies, 50 babies who were chopped and everything. There has been children who have been burnt. There was some people were in the car burnt alive. Those pictures are there. A child dead in a crib. Those pictures are there. And they did ask the Secretary of State, and he did say, he had said some things, but I don't think, to my knowledge, I haven't seen the 50 dismembered children. I have seen children, like babies, toddlers, killed. And so to me, this was going on online, whatever. I'm like, what, okay, what difference does it make? You know what I mean? What difference does it make? Are we talking about the numbers over here? Like, would it make a difference if it's one baby who was killed? I just don't know. But, these things are happening. They'll be, they want your words, everything to be precise. And yes, for the sake of history, they definitely need to be precise with the things that they're going to put with history, for sure. Okay? For sure. But as it stands right now, I don't see a place for this so-called moral equivalence with the things that are happening. But this is where the things are at, and there's been some movement that is going on, and he did share what's happening as of now. Okay, so we just share a little bit. You understand, as YouTube, I cannot play the entire video. It's someone else's content, and YouTube doesn't play when it comes to that. But I'll leave the link. You guys can watch. Okay, so here we go.
So again, I'll wait for a few more seconds to see that you guys are connecting, and I'm going to give you an update. Amazing. Okay, Missouri's in the house. Okay, the F-16s just took off. Maneuver. What we did is that we gave the 1.1 million Gazans, we gave them an ultimatum to clear the northern part of Gaza Strip and move to the south. And I think on Telegram I posted a map that can show you what it's all about. And the reason we did that is because we want to start a ground maneuver in northern Gaza without hurting civilians. We want to roll in with our tanks and take care of terrorists, take care of terrorist infrastructure, destroy terror tunnels, destroy their weapons, destroy their infrastructures, everything. And in order to do that, we are calling civilians. We dropped probably millions of flyers and leaflets from the air. And again, you can see that on my Telegram channel. We dropped them. We warned the civilians to leave because, and they have 40 minutes left, I think. Yeah, 40 minutes left before we are going to start something. Now watch this. Last night was the craziest night in the history of the Gaza Strip. We dropped more bombs and we destroyed.
Okay, so that's him. They are just giving information because they were given 24 hours to evacuate, and they showed the news. Some people leaving, and some people saying, we don't have anywhere else to go. We're just gonna stay put. And there are people over there, the Hamas people say, no, these Israelis are just playing with you psychologically. Stay put, be steadfast, don't leave. So as far as the warnings have been sent, people who decide to stay, they've stayed. I'm like, okay, you don't have anywhere else to go. They're saying, move from this area, go to this particular area. I mean, I'll just take my family and just start walking that particular direction. And whatever happens, happens. Like, I mean, if something happens to you, at least let it happen for you, at least trying to survive, as opposed just to be, And yeah, granted, I'm sure other people, they can't walk, they don't have any means. I'm sure they're just going to be like, you know what? Whatever happens, happens. You never know. But there will be a lot of casualties because the area, they've bombed the area. It's very highly. There's a lot of people who live there. It's a highly concentrated area. They dug out tunnels. That's where they hide. And yeah, it's a war. There's gonna be a lot of things that's going to happen over there. It's gonna be a lot of things that's going to happen. And yeah, man, the other direction, that's where you have the Mediterranean Sea. So the only place where they can actually go is to the sea. If only there were ships waiting for them on the sea, right? For people, but there's nothing there as well. So geographically, they are pretty much just trapped. They're pretty much just trapped, unless if Egypt opens its borders, which is unlikely. And obviously, the Israelis, that just cannot happen. You guys, we are all with you. Why would we open our door for you guys to come in? That wouldn't happen. There was another video that showed they called them Fayette 13. It's like the Navy SEAL, the equivalent of Navy SEAL. They were able to one of the bases over there. They had the terrorist people where they had, they were hiding there. So, but these people were able to breach there, and I don't know if these numbers are correct. So I'm just gonna give to you the numbers. They said there were 60 terrorists eliminated, 26 arrested, and 200 reserved at the military base, and 250 soldiers who were at the reserved military base were rescued. But there's also some information coming in and going. But there is actually a video showing that. I saw the video. I have it on my Twitter, but I can't show it over here. But like, yeah, you could actually see them in action. So those are the numbers that came out from there. And yeah, at least there's some good stories that are happening and some sad stories that are happening, but they are at war. Okay, all right. Moving on. This is an article that Samuel Say put out. I thought it was a very good, excellent article. It's not long. It's a short one. Okay, and Samuel Say so to writes. When Jews are attacked, people often ask, what did they do to provoke it? Palestine's latest terrorist attack against Israel has elicited that kind of reaction from some leftists, some conservatives, and sadly some Christians. On Saturday morning, the Palestinians infiltrated the Gaza-Israel barrier and killed over 700 Israelis. Now the number is over 1,300. Mostly civilians, over 2,000 more are wounded, 100 kidnapped. The numbers is 150. That could change. According to some people, the nation of Israel should primarily be blamed, that not Palestine. They shamelessly repeated Hamas propaganda about Israel's supposed oppressive terrorist actions against Palestinians. So-called conservatives joined leftists and used arguments from the post-colonial theory, the global version of critical race theory, to make the claim that Palestinians were simply using violence to defend themselves from their colonial oppressors. Yes, that's so whatever. This is not true. It's actually not true at all. Not true at all. But that's what happens. You repeat a lie for so long, and people start believing it. In other words, according to these people, according to these people, we should never blame the victim unless the victim is the nation of Israel. Yes, exactly. Remember, believe all women. Believe all women. Whether it's the, oh, I can't pronounce that word, uprising, Soviet anti-Semitism, and especially the Holocaust history is filled with many examples of people blaming Jews for violence against them. Just a couple months ago, Palestinian President Mahmoud Abbas said that the Hitler killed the Jews for being Jews, and that Europe hated the Jews because they were Jews. No, it was clearly explained that they fought them because of their social role, exonerate money lending, and not their religion. People who defend the Palestinian government are defending people who defend Hitler and the Nazis. I agree. Think about that. There is a direct line between Abbas blaming Jews for the Holocaust and people blaming Israel for the terrorist attacks against them. Also, Abbas' words are more troubling when you remember that he is considered a moderate in Palestinian politics. Yeah, this guy has been in power for 20 years. He doesn't want to hold elections. Because if he does hold the elections, the people are going to vote for who? For Hamas. Go figure. Okay. Okay, wait a minute. Okay. Palestine is Hamas, the terrorist group that carried out the attack on Saturday morning. Peace without truth is impossible. So if people sincerely want peace for Palestinians and the Israelis, they need to know the truth about the Palestinian government and the truth about the history of the conflict. People seem to believe Palestine was a sovereign state in the early 20th century until Zionists supposedly invaded the land and forced them out of their homes. But that's not true exactly, okay? Israel was established in 1948, okay? But it doesn't mean that, that was their land. But, the Holocaust, being in exile, things of that nature, the Palestine this is in the 1960s. Before Israel's declaration of independence in 1948, there hadn't been a sovereign nation in that land since the Jewish state called Judea. It was ruled by the Hamanesian dynasty over 2,000 years ago, decades before the birth of Christ. Yeah? The Roman Empire, we know that, conquered Judea, and after that, the Roman Jewish Wars. Most of the Jewish population was forced into exile across Europe, the Arab world, and North Africa. Judea was renamed Palestine, and centuries later, Palestine was conquered by Ottoman Empire, and after World War I, the British Empire. Exactly. This means even after 2,000 years in exile, Jews are the only people to rightfully call the land of Israel their sovereign state. Those are just facts that people choose to ignore. Quite frankly, even in fact, even Jordan, okay, even the West Bank, right? Where the West Bank, that's Judea and Samaria. That's Judea and Samaria. This is where they have the so-called Palestine, is Judea and Samaria. And if you read your Bibles, there's no argument there. The people we consider Palestine today didn't have nationalist ambitions during the Ottoman Empire. They were simply Arabs living in Palestine under the authority of a friendly empire that changed when the British gained control of Palestine and issued the Balfour Declaration in 1917, which promised the establishment in Palestine of a national home for the Jewish people. Israel returned to their ancestral land, received support from the international community, especially after the Holocaust. The United Nations drafted the first of what is called a two-state solution in 1947. Their proposal would have established both Israel and Palestine. they declined. Okay, they, I remember, even when I was young, okay, when I was in middle school, I come home every time on the news. There was always conflict, like, oh, this happened in Gaza, Yasser Arafat. Okay, this was just like, these are the things that you just, it was just there. Okay, and the prime minister now, BB of you. I mean, Benjamin Netanyahu. So I was just like, I don't know. We did some history as far as America is concerned. So these were the things. So those guys like, no, we don't want a two-state war. We want the Jewish people to leave, to go, so we can have all this, whatever the Arab nation. And quite frankly, if you read your Bible, just like, man, Jews, Israel is surrounded by their enemies. You have Egypt, Muslim, Syria, Muslim, Lebanon, Muslims. Okay, so they are definitely surrounded by they are within their enemy territory. And like God says, like, you are a small among the nations. I've chosen you not for your sake, but for God's sake, that it should be a light to the other nations. So if anything, we need to be praying for the Jews to bow their knee to their Messiah, because the majority of Jewish people are not Christians. But God keeps his promises, right? His promises and gifts are irrevocable. But I continue. Palestine rejected it, and with it, 7 Arab nations, they went to war with Israel. Inexplicably, okay, Israel won the war. And this war, this is a 6-day war, okay? What happened with this war? I personally say this was like God doing these things. It's kind of like in the Bible. So, Israel went to war, the 6-day war. The Egypt, Jordan, all those surrounding areas were gearing in to go to war with Israel. We're just going to get rid of these people. All the Arab nations united to get rid of Israel. And the Israelis got wind of that. So they decided to start the war before their enemies started war. So they're literally fighting war in 3 fronts. Because like I say, you have Egypt on one side, Syria on one side, and then you have Jordan on one side. They conquered. They won. They won against the Egyptians, the Syrians, and the Jordanians. They really won a 6-day war. Like, how is that even possible? How are you going to win a war with 3 nations? So that was just God, to be honest with you. They call like a miraculous victory. Yes, that was God's doing. But I continue. Israel won the war, and they gained more land than they would have under the United Nations proposal. Since the Palestinian government has rejected offers for peace, Israel, however, has made concessions to appease the Palestinians, including famously giving up control of Gaza, the area Palestinians used for the attack on Saturday. These are facts. In 2005, but Hamas immediately gained control of Gaza and established their headquarters at a hospital in the territory. Yes, exactly. Their Pentagon is in the basement of the hospital. If these people are for their own people, why are you setting out your thing in the of all the places? Why the hospital? Why don't you have your proper building? And they don't have, like, you cannot be walking out on the streets. You can see here, like, oh, that's a National Guard uniform. Oh, that's a the Marines. You can tell these are the Marines. These are the Delta forces, the police, the special forces. You can tell that the Hamas people, you can't. But I finish it. Okay, but anyway, be that as it may. Okay, so I'm so glad that somebody put that article there. It's good. You guys should read it. So the things that these people are saying, like we saw over there when I said like queer for Palestine. You don't even have to know the history. Like over here, you can have your Pride Month in America. You're not gonna have Pride Month in Islamic nations. That's just a fact. They don't tolerate that. That will cost you your life. So you don't have to know much. So then why would you have those people be like, okay, we are standing with these people? It just doesn't make any sense. So that was, just a quick whatever history. In fact, there's actually even a time when they had Bill Clinton, Yasser Arafat, and the Prime Minister of Israel to do a deal, to do a peace. And whatever else they wanted, the Israelis gave them. Okay, what do you want, Gaza? Here, everything, whatever else they wanted, they gave it to them. Okay, we want the Jerusalem, whatever way they have the Al-Aqsa Mosque, the Rock of the Dome. Okay, you can have it. So that's what they did. The Israelis, okay, here you go, mind your business. We're gonna mind our business. They refuse. They don't want. But they always say, "Oh, we want the two states." That's not what they want. They've been given that time and time and time and time again. They don't want. And why did these people decided to attack? Because now the Israelis were in talks with Saudi Arabia, okay? So they can, just peace, do business deals and everything. The Iranians are not happy about that. Why? Because you have the Shias in Iran, and they don't see eye to eye with the Sunnis in Saudi Arabia. The Saudis, yes, they're Muslims, but they like to have good life, okay? They are Muslim, but they prefer good life, okay? That's why you have over there the Dubai expensive real estate. They have everything. So, but the Iranians, if you guys start having good relationship with the Israelis, no, that's not good. The aim for the Arab world is to get rid of Israel. So why are you making peace with these people? So they had to they had to stay up the part. And here we are. These are the things that are going on. So no, they are not interested. They gave Egypt to be Gaza, be like they don't want it. The Jordanians, same thing. They'll be like, no, we don't want to have anything to do with Gaza because it's a terrorist bait. The Israelis were there. They left. They don't occupy Gaza at all. They left. They are free to do whatever else they want to do. No, they'll be like, no, because they want to take Israel. Because to them, it's also their holy land. Remember? According to them, like, oh, no, all this. But yes, man, So, like, yeah. So I do think lack of just basic a little bit of history, just common sense, just to be understanding, especially for Christians. You have worldviews over here, like in conflict, and people are just like, oh, it's this, is this. Like, no, it shouldn't be so. So, what is the takeaway of all these things? We are Christians. We want to see people come to know Christ. However, things are going to happen, we always pray for people. And those people who are dying over there, dying in their sins, it's very dangerous. I know they are meeting their maker in that. So, as much as even these atrocities they are committed, they are not beyond redemption if they bow the knee, if they repent and believe the gospel and believe in Christ. And believe in Christ. So, yes, whatever the Israelis, whatever they have to do, that's the responsibility of the government, right? You protect your people, you bear the sword, you defend and protect the people. That is their responsibility. They are responsible to do that. They're responsible to do that. It's not a sin to go to war. It's the reasons why you're going to war. Okay, it's the reason why you're going to war. Okay, so people say, "Oh, you are Italian." No, they were attacked. So this is, they're at war. So Israel is at war with Gaza. That's exactly what's going on over here. All right, guys. We went on. We're gonna do the TGC article. We're just gonna do another video for that one another day. Okay, we're gonna do another day. We've been going on for quite some time. I appreciate you guys for staying in. How come I didn't, come on, we have blessings. Okay, PJ Williams, thank you for stopping by. I didn't do good with the chat because I was busy reading over there. But yes, I'm going to leave the links. That way you can at least be able to watch some of the stuff. Okay? That way you guys be able. Oh, yeah. Eric, thank you. You already posted that. Look at that. Okay? Good job. Good job. Good job. Good job. Good job. Okay? Yeah. From the other nation people living in the area of Palestine, but the land doesn't belong. No, it does not. It does not. It does not at all. Yeah. But even though the land does not belong to them, the Israelis was like, okay, you guys can have that piece of the land, do your own thing. We're gonna be here. We're gonna do our thing. They still don't want. So now it'll be like no more. You guys, yeah, we've been so nice to you guys. You haven't accepted our niceness, so this is it. Yeah, you're definitely correct. So thank you, Eric, for posting those links in there. I appreciate you guys. Yeah, Tel Aviv, like so. Oh yes. Oh no. Yeah. Yeah. Tel Aviv. Like yeah. Oh yeah. Tel Aviv. Ooh. This is all kinds of debauchery out there. But yes. So what is the takeaway? But definitely, we want the Israel. I mean, we are Gentiles out here who have bowed the knee to Christ. And those guys are the original olive tree, right? So, how sweet for them to be like, wait a minute. You mean this is, we come from the same bloodline like the Messiah? You need to come to Christ. They need to come to Christ. So, pray for the peace of Jerusalem. Pray for these people to come to know Christ. So, they can be truly a beacon in that land. Be like, no, we bow the knee to Jesus Christ. He came and he went. So, like, yeah, pray for that. And there are pagan surrounding nations as well to be able to come to know Christ. So Psalm 122, it's a good prayer to pray for Jerusalem. We pray for peace. We pray for wisdom, and we pray that even in the midst of all this, people are going to be able to have opportunities to share the good news of the kingdom. That video that I shared, the gentleman, he's a Jew, he's Jewish, but he's a Christian. He's a born again Christian. So it's always nice to see Jews who are Christians. It's beautiful. It's nice. All right, guys. That's all that I had for you guys today. I hope you find this to be informative to you. If you have any questions, put them in the comments. I'll be happy to answer whatever I can. If not, I can point you where you can get the answer. Okay? So enjoy your evening, enjoy your weekend. Stay tuned, more coming. We're going to do the other TGC another day. Okay? But I appreciate your viewership. I appreciate you for being here. Don't forget to like this video on your way out. Subscribe to the channel if you haven't subscribed. Follow me on Instagram, Twitter, and Facebook if you haven't done so. If you want to see some of these videos that obviously we cannot share on this, you can see them on my Twitter page at Buryan Babes. All right, until next time, remember to be in the know. Good night, and thank you.